Hello, I'm Andrew Smith from the Open University Cisco Academy, and rather than go through the detailed configuration, I am actually going to do a here's one I built earlier scenario. This file has been saved, it is available, and you can use it. And as a reminder to my Open University TM257 students, DHCP is also part of the day school and the end of module assessment, and it's worth having a look at this for exemplars of what you could be configuring. On the left hand side, I have got a local area network with two PCs that have got an IP helper address, and on the right hand side I've got two routers that are learning their address from the IP address DHCP command. Now I can hover my mouse over and you can see straight away that this has actually learned an IP address, and you can see this has learned an IP address as well. And if I hover my mouse over here, you can see that this has also learned an IP address. I haven't done anything too clever, but I'm going to show you it all bit by bit. So I'm going to go to the middle, the DHCP server, and the first thing you'll notice is I've actually got OSPF running. I've given some examples of multi-area and single area OSPF already, and this is very much so that the routers can pass the information around the network. You're going to learn this on enterprise networking, but it's not a bad thing to see these kind of things in advance. If I just do a show run and just bang straight through to the end, you can see the configuration here. On the left it's 33, in the middle it's 66, and to the right it's 99. I can easily just bring up the left now and do that. In fact, there you can see, whoops, I've just scrolled too fast, but you can see how I've set everything up. So it's not a complicated network. But if I go back to this now and actually just show you my DHCP configuration, I've set up a range of excluded addresses. It is a range, and I've been slightly extreme where I've said, right, anything from 99 blah 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 .1 through to .99 is excluded. You can't have them. Anything from 33 blah 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 to 1 to 99 can't be used. But I've created two DHCP pools, okay, and they're very simple. I haven't done anything clever. I call one 99 pool and I've called the other one 33 pool. Let's state the obvious, because the obvious is often the better way to do things. And the default router is the IP address of the device. Now this 33, you'll notice, is not on here at all. There's no 33. This is the remote that's going to be helped across. So you need the default router, the default gateway that the packets are going to pass through, the local devices are going to pass through to get their next hop. No point putting it further upstream. They can't see it. You need to put it where they need to see it for their local need. I haven't set up DNS or anything else. This is a simple example. So I've got this set up, and it's acting as a DHCP server. And if I do show IP learn to type Andrew DHCP, and then Paul, you'll see it's telling me all sorts of information already. I'll tidy this up for everybody, but you can see that each one has got two addresses quite comfortably set up in this infrastructure, which is exactly what we need here for this to operate safely and sensibly. Now, if I go over to the right hand side to the stub routers, they could be routers that pop up or part of the Costa buck, or lots of branches scenario. If I actually just go in here and do an enable and a conf, I've not actually set up any routing on these. Sorry, exit Andrew and just do a show run. Because these are stubs, we could have set up a default route or anything like that. I'm not setting these up for routing. I have just set up the IP address DHCP on that interface pointing outwards. But if I now do a show IP interface brief, you can see it's learned it, and the method it's learned it as well. So this is the important information. I can do the same now on stub Y. Enable show IP interface brief. And you can see exactly the same thing. It's not rocket science. I've not said any routing on these. These are just to prove the point that a router can learn an IP address. You don't actually have to configure it on an interface, and it's coming from that interface because that's where it can see up. It's just sending out a UDP, DHCP discovery, and then the whole process is taken by. And if you actually stuck a packet sniffer in the way, and this is running, if you restart it, you'll see all of that. However, here it is slightly different, and because it's a helper and it's one step removed away from the server, this is not the DHCP server, and I basically go on the interface that is going to take the DHCP discovery requests. So this interface here on the left is pointing to these subordinate devices, these PCs. I need to tell it where the helper address is farther upstream, and it needs to know that via the routing protocol. It needs to be able to learn it, it needs to be able to discover it, it needs to be able to talk to it. So it needs to know where it is somehow. So even if it's not in any other configuration, it could be 3 or 4 or 5 hops away. Whatever you put in, it needs to be able to learn it, and it needs to know it via IP route. It needs to know it via this. And if you can't see it in the routing table, bah. Can't see it via default route, bah as well. Okay, it's got to be able to learn it. But you put it on the interface that's going to listen for the discovery UDP request. That way that I can go into this PC here, just go into the desktop, there you go, it's static at the moment, DHCP, and it should now get a 33 address, because this is the only one I haven't configured. And it's quite straightforward. No, I haven't set DNS, I have told it it's default gateway, and now by the power of the internet, I should be able to ping 99.0.0.1. Yeah, because that's working quite comfortably. In fact, I should be able to ping .101. It should do an ARP request shortly. RTO, there you go. Even though there is no routing on that router, because it's getting a ping and it's set up quite simply, and will route connected with its own structure. So even though these two devices at the far ends have got DHCP in very different ways, I've got 2 DHCP pools set up, and one is dishing out via helper, and the other one is dishing out because they're asking for a DHCP address. It's all working fine. So my advice when you get your hands on this file is just do lots of show runs and see how I've configured it. But remember, for a helper address, it needs to be able to learn it from the routing table. If it can't see it in the routing table, nothing is going to happen. So, thank you very much for listening or watching in the last 8 or 9 minutes. I'm Andrew Smith from the Open University Cisco Academy.